Somewhere in the world, there is a country you think you already know. Shaped by headlines and half-told stories, but beyond the noise lies a land of raw beauty. Ancient history and places still untouched, hidden in plain sight, misunderstood and rarely seen. And just when you think you've figured it out, this is Pakistan. There is a place on this earth where the world's three greatest mountain ranges, the Himalayas, the Karakoram, and the Hindu Kush, all meet at once. Where rivers carved canyons before human beings could write. Where ancient traders walked routes so dangerous that entire caravans simply disappeared. This is a country with 5,000 years of continuous civilization, 5 distinct regions, over 70 languages, and somehow, it never made it onto your travel list. This is Pakistan. We begin our journey in Islamabad, one of the few purpose-built capitals in the world, designed from scratch in the 1960s and carved into the foothills of the Margalla Hills. It is green, planned, and unexpectedly peaceful for a national capital. At its center stands the Faisal Mosque, a structure that broke every rule of Islamic architecture when it was built. No dome, no minarets in the traditional sense. Instead, 4 razor-sharp concrete towers and a vast tent-shaped prayer hall that can hold 300,000 worshippers. When the Turkish architect Vedat Dalokay designed it, the entire Muslim world debated whether it was even a mosque. Today, it is considered one of the most beautiful religious buildings on earth. Behind the city, the Margalla Hills are a national park. And in the mornings, the residents of Islamabad treat them like a backyard. Leopards live up there. Monkeys cross the hiking trails. It is the only capital city in the world where you can spot a leopard 40 minutes from the Parliament building. Two hours north of Islamabad, the world changes completely. The road climbs into the mountains, and suddenly you are surrounded by something that does not look like Pakistan at all. At least not the Pakistan you were told about. Swat Valley. The British called it the Switzerland of Asia. Alexander the Great called it unconquerable. The Mughals called it paradise. They were all correct. The Swat River runs the entire length of the valley in a shade of turquoise that doesn't seem real. Pine forests climb the slopes on both sides. In summer, the meadows turn a green so vivid it almost hurts to look at. In winter, The peaks receive so much snow that the entire valley becomes a different world entirely. The people of Swat are Pashtun, a people defined by an ancient code of honor called Pashtunwali. Under this code, a guest is sacred. You are never allowed to leave a Pashtun home without eating. The host considers it a personal failure if you are not satisfied. In some villages, the host will not eat until the guest has finished. Swat was also once a center of Buddhist civilization. The valley is scattered with ancient stupas and monasteries from the 1st century CE, relics of a time when this was one of the most important Buddhist pilgrimage routes in Asia. Chinese monks traveling to India passed through here and wrote about a valley so beautiful they thought it was blessed by the gods. Most people who visit Swat have never heard of what lies beyond it. Drive deeper into Deer Upper District and the road eventually gives up. And that is where Kumrat Valley begins. This place has no hotels, no tourist infrastructure, no Wi-Fi signal. What it has is a primeval forest of giant deodars, cedar trees that are hundreds of years old. A river of glacial water and the kind of silence that makes you realize how loud the modern world actually is. Kumrat is not on most maps. It was not accessible by road until very recently. And the locals who live in the handful of villages here will look at you with genuine curiosity. Because foreign visitors are still a novelty. You are not a tourist here. You are a guest who has wandered into someone's home. At the top of the valley, above the tree line, lies Jahaz Banda. A high-altitude meadow that translates literally as the place that looks like a ship. It sits at 3,100 meters. The air is thin and cold even in July, and on a clear day, you can see into Afghanistan from here. The Gujar people bring their herds here every summer, a tradition of vertical migration that has continued for centuries, unchanged by the world below. They make cheese in the old way. They track weather by watching the mountains, not a phone. Here, time genuinely moves differently. Further north, pressed against the Afghan border and the Hindu Kush, lies a district called Chitral. It feels like the end of the world, in the best possible sense. The valley is narrow, the mountains impossibly steep, and the culture is unlike anything else in Pakistan. Tirich Mir dominates the skyline. At 7,708 meters, it is the highest peak of the Hindu Kush range. From the town below, it simply hangs in the sky like a wall of ice and rock, so large it creates its own weather. The people of Chitral have lived under its shadow for thousands of years. They call it a guardian. But the greatest wonder of Chitral is something no one expects to find here. Hidden in 3 small valleys, Bumbure, Rumbur, and Birir, lives one of the last surviving ancient peoples of the Hindu Kush, the Kalash. The Kalash are a non-Muslim minority who have maintained their ancient polytheistic religion, language, and culture for over 3,000 years. Completely surrounded by the Islamic world. Their women wear black robes and elaborate beaded headdresses, covered in cowrie shells and embroidery. They celebrate festivals with wine, music, and communal dancing. They trace their ancestry to the soldiers of Alexander the Great. A claim that modern genetics has found to be partially supported. There are only around 4,000 Kalash people left. Their language is endangered. Their way of life is fragile. And yet, sitting among them during the spring festival of Joshi, watching them dance around fires while singing songs in a language that connects to the ancient world, you feel that something rare and irreplaceable is still alive here. Somewhere in the north of Pakistan, tucked between walls of rock that rise 7,000 meters into the sky, there is a valley so beautiful that the people who found it refused to believe it was real. This is Hunza. And for most of human history, it was completely cut off from the rest of the world. No road, no telephone, no outside contact, just the mountains, the river, and a civilization that quietly developed on its own for over 1,000 years. The people of Hunza speak a language called Burushaski. Linguists have spent over a century searching for its relatives. They have found none. It is what scientists call a language isolate. A tongue that exists alone in the world, with no known family, no known ancestor. The language of Hunza is as isolated as the valley itself. Above the village, Altit Fort has watched over this valley for over 900 years. It is one of the oldest surviving buildings in Pakistan. Mirs, the kings of Hunza, ruled from this fort for centuries, commanding a mountain kingdom so remote that the British Empire took nearly 50 years to even reach it. In 2010, a massive landslide buried an entire village and blocked the Hunza River. The water rose for 5 months, and what was left behind was this, Atabad Lake. A tragedy that created one of the most surreal and beautiful bodies of water in Asia. The color is not a filter, not an edit. The minerals in this glacial water produce a shade of blue-green that your camera will struggle to capture and your mind will struggle to believe. The submerged Karakoram Highway still lies beneath the surface. If the water were clear enough, you could look down and see the old road, the road that once connected these villages to the world, still there, ghostly, under 20 meters of glacial water. Hunza does not feel like a place you discover. It feels like a place that has been quietly waiting for you to be ready for it. Western explorers who came here in the early 20th century reported something strange about the people of Hunza. They were extraordinarily healthy. They lived long, some claimed past 100. They had almost no cancer, no heart disease. Scientists still debate the reasons. The diet of apricots, walnuts, and glacier water. The altitude. The lifestyle. The fact that stress, as we know it in modern cities, simply does not exist here in the same form. Whether the legend of Shangri-La was inspired by Hunza, nobody can say for certain. But sitting here, watching the sun set behind Rakaposhi, while sharing dried apricots with a family who insisted we stay for dinner, it is very easy to stop asking. Skardu. The gateway to the savage mountain Hunza is a painting. Then Skardu is a geological argument. This valley was carved by the Indus River, one of the great rivers of Asia, over millions of years. The result is something that does not make visual sense. A flat, sandy desert sitting at over 2,000 meters, surrounded on every side by peaks that scrape the stratosphere. Skardu is the last major city before the edge of the world. It is the base for expeditions to K2, to Broad Peak, to Gasherbrum. More 8,000-meter peaks are accessible from this one valley than from almost anywhere else on the planet. Two hours from Skardu, the road climbs into one of the most extraordinary landscapes on Earth, the Deosai Plains. At 4,114 meters above sea level, this is the second highest plateau in the world. In winter, it disappears completely under 10 feet of snow. In summer, it explodes into wildflowers, millions of them, covering every inch of ground as far as you can see. The Deosai is one of the last remaining habitats of the Himalayan brown bear. There are fewer than 100 left, and they live here, on this silent, windswept plateau, in one of the most remote corners of Asia. You are more likely to see one here than anywhere else on Earth. Near Skardu lies a place called Shangri-La Resort. It sits beside the lower Kachura Lake, a body of water so calm, so perfectly placed between the mountains, that the original owner simply named it after the mythical paradise. He was not being poetic, he was being accurate. Skardu has a word problem. The problem is that when you try to describe it, the colours, the scale, the silence, the feeling of being somewhere that is completely outside the modern world, the words come out sounding like exaggeration. They are not. This place simply requires your presence to be understood. From Skardu, if you are willing to walk for 7 days into the mountains, you reach a place called Concordia. At Concordia, 4 of the world's 14 8,000-meter peaks are visible simultaneously. K2, Broad Peak, Gasherbrum 1, Gasherbrum 2. Standing there, surrounded by more vertical rock and ice than exists anywhere else on the surface of this planet, is described by mountaineers as a religious experience. You do not need to be a mountaineer to feel it. You just need to look up. Skardu is where the Earth ran out of ideas and simply decided to build everything as large as possible and see what happened. Carpoccio Fort has stood above Skardu since the 8th century. Conquerors have stood here, Mughals, Tibetans, Dogras, the British. Every one of them, no matter what they came for, must have stopped at some point and just looked out at this view. Because some things are bigger than conquest. Some things are bigger than history. Hunza and Skardu are 2 of the most spectacular places that exist on this earth, and almost nobody outside Pakistan knows their names. Come back down from the mountains, and you arrive in a city that has been a crossroads of civilizations for over 2,500 years, Peshawar. The gateway between Central Asia and the Indian subcontinent. Every empire that wanted one had to take the other through here first. The Chisakwani Bazaar, which translates as the Street of Storytellers, has been a trading bazaar since before the Mughal Empire. For centuries, caravans arriving from Kabul, Samarkand, and Kashgar would stop here, and the travelers would share their stories over cups of green tea. The stories became currency. The bazaar became famous. Today, the bazaar still exists. The traders still sell the same things. Dried mulberries from Afghanistan, saffron from Iran, copper pots made by hand 3 streets over. The tea is still green. And if you sit long enough, someone will still try to tell you a story. Peshawar's museum holds one of the world's finest collections of Gandharan art. If there is one city in Pakistan that demands its own documentary, it is Lahore. Aryans, Greeks, Kushans, Mughals, Sikhs, and the British have all ruled this city. Each one left something behind. None of them could erase what came before. The Badshahi Mosque, built by Emperor Aurangzeb in 1673, was once the largest mosque in the world. It held that record for over 3 centuries. Stand in its courtyard alone, and you can fit the entire population of a small town around you. The detail in the marble inlay, flowers, geometry, calligraphy, was carved by craftsmen whose techniques no longer exist. Inside the Lahore fort is a room called the Sheesh Mahal, the Palace of Mirrors. Every centimetre of its ceiling is covered in tiny convex mirrors set into plasterwork. When a single candle is lit inside, the entire room becomes a night sky. Shah Jahan built it for his wife so she could see 1,000 stars without leaving the palace. And then there is the food. Lahori cuisine is not food. It is an argument, a religion, and a love language all at once. Nihari, a slow-cooked beef stew simmered for 12 hours, was originally eaten only by Mughal royalty before sunrise. Paya, halwa puri on Sunday mornings. Biryani debates that have lasted generations. Kulfi from carts that have been in the same family for 100 years. Pakistani food is one of the most criminally underrepresented cuisines in the world, and Lahore is its capital. We travel south to the flat plains of Sindh. And to one of the most important archaeological sites on the entire planet. Mohenjo-Daro, built in 2500 BCE. One of the first great cities in human history. This city had a sewage system before Rome. It had standardized brick sizes, uniform weights, and a street grid so precise that modern urban planners still study it. And its writing, the Indus script, remains completely undeciphered. We do not know their language. We do not know their gods. We do not even know what they called themselves. Mohenjo-Daro is not a ruin. It is a question, the greatest unsolved mystery of the ancient world, sitting quietly in the middle of Pakistan, waiting for someone to come and ask it. The largest province of Pakistan covers 44% of the country's total area. It has fewer people than the city of Karachi. And almost nobody talks about it. Balochistan is a land of lunar landscapes and Arabian Sea coastline. And the contrast between the two is so extreme, it is difficult to believe they exist in the same province. In the north, you have the Hingol National Park, the largest national park in Pakistan. Where wind and rain have sculpted the earth into alien formations. The Sphinx of Pakistan, the Princess of Hope, mud volcanoes that bubble with gas from deep underground. Actress Angelina Jolie visited Balochistan in 2002 during the Afghan refugee crisis and named this rock formation the Princess of Hope. She said it reminded her of the resilience of the people she had met. The name stuck. The provincial capital, Quetta, sits at 1,680 meters in a bowl between mountains. It is famous for its fruit. The pomegranates and apples of Balochistan are considered the finest in Asia. The city feels like a frontier town, Central Asian in character, Baloch in soul, ancient in its bones. The Baloch people have one of the richest oral literary traditions in the region. Their poetry, their embroidery patterns, their music, all carry the weight of centuries. The Balochi shalwar kameez, embroidered by hand with geometric patterns that carry specific meanings known only to the maker, is one of the most elaborate folk textiles in the world. Pakistan is not one culture. It is at least 5: Punjabi, Sindhi, Pashtun, Baloch, and Kashmiri. Each with its own language, music, food, dress, and worldview. And within those 5, hundreds more. Pakistani truck art is possibly the most elaborate folk art tradition in the world. Every truck is a moving canvas, hand-painted with flowers, landscapes, poetry, birds, portraits of heroes. By craftsmen in workshops in Karachi and Peshawar. No 2 trucks are the same. A fully decorated truck can take 6 months to complete. Qawwali music, the Sufi devotional music popularized globally by Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, was born and evolved on this soil. On Thursday nights, at the shrines of Data Ganj Bakhsh in Lahore and Shah Abdul Latif Bhitai in Sindh, thousands gather to sing together until dawn. The music is not entertainment, it is prayer. Basant, the spring kite festival of Punjab, once turned the skies of Lahore into a battlefield of colour. Thousands of kites, cutting strings with glass-coated thread, the whole city on rooftops. In its peak years, it was one of the largest outdoor festivals in Asia. And the language, Urdu, is itself an art form. Born in the military camps of the Mughal Empire, it blended Persian, Arabic, Turkish, and Sanskrit into something entirely new. Its poetry tradition, the ghazal, is one of the most refined lyric forms in world literature. Mirza Ghalib, Faiz Ahmed Faiz, Allama Iqbal. These are not just poets. They are how millions of people understand love, loss, and existence. We started this journey at one of the highest points on Earth. We end it here again. Because this country begins and ends with something that makes you feel very small in the best possible way. We have been to the Switzerland of Asia and the end of the world. We have walked in the bazaars of a 2,500-year-old city and stood in ruins that are 4,500 years older than that. We have sat with people whose ancestors crossed these mountains before recorded history and been offered tea within 5 minutes of meeting them. The question people always ask us is it safe? The question they never ask, but should, is, why did I take this long to look? Pakistan is older than most countries' entire recorded histories. It is stranger, more layered, more generous, and more beautiful than almost anything you have been shown. The mountains are real. The food will ruin you for everything else. And the welcome you receive here, from Peshawar to the Makran coast, is the kind that makes you question everything you thought you knew about a place. The world forgot to look here. We think it's long past time.